Hello everybody, this is Brad Dyke reaching out to you to say hi, how you doing? I hope everything is doing well. Today's do-it-yourself video is going to be about intimidation. And I'm subject to this myself. Now, before I go into this, I want to explain two very important things. One, things aren't always what you think they are. And because of that being the case, you're going to incur appliances, parts of your home, your car, and so on that will appear to you as basically intimidating. What do I mean? Well, here, let me give you an example. See this little broken, this is a broken tool here, and it's got problems. And, you know, I've had to work, I've been working with it, and it's complicated because of its sophisticated nature. And what do I mean by that? Well, this guy is a cutting device. It will cut metal of any kind, pipes, plastics, you name it. It's got a carbide, that's a carbon-based blade on it. It is not a diamond cutting blade, but it's very close to it. It is a form of carbon, just not as well condensed as a diamond cutting blade is. Anyways, this thing's intimidating. It really is. When you look at it, it's highly compact. You have a powerful motor assembly here. And, you know, when you are getting ready to use it, you understand that, you know, the nature of it can be very damaging. Now, good news is, I guess I wasn't too intimidated because I fixed it. But it's an example of what I'm talking about. And I have another example of it this past week that I just tackled in my house. Initially, I was working with my fireplace, a ventless fireplace. And the ventless fireplace had a gas regulator, a natural gas regulator. And basically, in a nutshell, the gas comes into the regulator goes to the pilot feed, and the pilot feed has a pilot light. It stays lit all the time, and then it flows out natural gas into my ventless fireplace to give me the native look of a fire-driven fireplace, which was really nice. Worked great for about 20 years, and this past year, the regulator failed. So I found a new regulator, and I reached out to a friend of mine and asked him, hey, Dustin, could you work on my fireplace? Because I have not worked with a fireplace in the past, and it's a little intimidating because it's natural gas. You don't screw with natural gas. You either know how to do this or you don't. Now this goes to that part I was talking about way at the beginning when I started the do-it-yourselves out there. And it's principalized on the fact that, hey, understand that when you're doing this, make sure you're doing it safely. Research it, clarify the risks, understand the risks, find out what is proper code, and so on. And if it flat out just simply says, don't do this unless you have a licensed professional to do it, it's kind of a rare, but electricians are an example of that, then adhere to it and get the electrician to do the work that you need to have done. Now, if you are like myself and worked with a lot of electrical power platforms, as for instance my own power platforms over there, power doesn't intimidate me. So I do all of my own electrical work because I trust my work better than I trust somebody I don't know. Natural gas, outside of a gas water heater, not so good. So I decided that, okay, I'm not going to let this intimidate me. Dustin's not available. It's been 3 months. Still hasn't been serviced. Now I'm going into the summertime, and I decided I will read the procedures, learn the guidelines, make sure this isn't something that is quote-unquote licensed professional in nature, and so on and so on and so on. Turns out that I intimidated myself out of doing it when I could have easily done it. It is exactly, almost precisely the same strategy as installing a natural gas water heater. With that, it's like, oh, well, click, click, click. I see all the connecting points. I see all the proper formats. I have to make sure I'm using what we call the putty liner on the threads of the proper piping, and the proper types of pipes are used to prevent any type of sparking that could cause a fire. And then I realized, well, you know what? Outside of just connecting the gas line, the rest of this is easy. It's just decouple the old platform, clean everything up, put in the new platform replacement part, reconnect everything up, and make sure that, very important when you're dealing with natural gas, that you get a bowl of water with soap in it. Soapy water that bubbles up real easy. And as you release the gas pressure back into your newly installed ventless gas regulator, that you've painted all the threadings on all the intersections of that gas pipe, that natural gas pipe, and look for bubbles, blowing bubbles. That means that your threading was not done correctly and that you've got a gas leak. Shut it all down, clear the gas line, take it all apart, put it back together correctly, and this time make sure the putty is properly put in place. I use plumbing putty. It works the best for gas lines because it solidifies into a membrane, unlike Teflons and other types of piping threads that really aren't the appropriate thing for gas lines. But the point was, I tricked myself into not thinking I could do this work. Even though I'm a technically competent individual, as you can see with all the stuff I play with and so on, the reality of the fact is I tricked myself. And I realized I could do this work. It wasn't that hard to do. So when it comes to devices, this is only held in place by screws. You can separate this, and you can use an ohms meter, and you can check it to see if you got a bad battery or bad contact. And bad contacts are easy to fix. You just scrape them down a little bit. You use what's called a contact brush like this, and you get it in there and use a little electrolyte contact surface material to help boost that connectivity between the battery and the drill. And voila, you're operational again. Don't go out and buy another drill. Well, I might have more drills than I technically could use, but I got them on different stages. So I got my automotive drill sets that I do the socket and Torx and all of that, and then over here I've got the wood-based kind of drills that are focused on houses, and then I got my electronics gear, my little ones, which surprisingly are very efficient for most household functionalities, except for the heavy-duty stuff. And of course, yes, I have my bruiser. My bruiser, who is a full horsepower drill that requires 2 human beings to hold on to, but will drill through concrete like it's nothing. Sweet. But that's because I kind of like tools. Anyways, I digress. So the whole point of this video is to say, even I can be intimidated by some things because I'm not sure how it would go together, or I hadn't actually taken the right prospectus on what I'm working with so I can get a good feel for what I need to do to get myself in a better place, per se. Well, with this being said, I hope this helps you a little bit. You're not the only one out there that gets intimidated. I do this stuff daily, and it might be just a little tiny wafer plastic remote like this, or it can be a complicated, cutting bit device like the one I showed you, or an intimidating fireplace that doesn't want to work with you and makes you feel like you can't touch it because you just don't know how. We'll figure it out. Check with professionals. Do your research always first. That way you can do it right the first time, not 3 or 4 different times. Well, this is Brad Dyke. I hope this video was helpful. It helps to understand that you're not the only one out there that's facing the challenges of the costs and expense of today. Everything cost-wise is going up. So roll up your sleeves, and in my case, I have no sleeves. Wash your hands, get in there, and don't be afraid. Your washer, your dryer, everything can be addressed. And a worst case scenario, if you couldn't have fixed it, at least you figured out that you genuinely could not fix it. That's very real. Many a time you'll be surprised. Refrigerators, freezers, washers, dryers, drills, vacuum cleaners, whatever, you figure out, hey, I can fix this. This isn't that big of a deal. Well, I hope this works out for you guys, and I hope you have any questions. Please feel free to just simply ask me about them. and I'll be glad to talk to them. I'll be talking about some other future initiatives, including how, when do you throw in the towel when it comes to dealing with refrigerators and freezers and so on, and understand, it wasn't you and you couldn't really fix it, and I'll explain why. We'll do that later in the next video. But I hope you guys have a great week. God bless and take care.